Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am coming at you guys with another foundation review. I know you guys loved the foundation week and you told me as much, which made me feel so good after putting in all that work. But I definitely want to have another foundation week. It's just taking me some time to accumulate foundations that can be enough for a whole foundation week on its own. But I just figured in the meantime, if I come across a foundation that I feel like you guys might want to see a review on, then I will just go ahead and do it, which is exactly what I am going to be doing today. So I am reviewing the Maybelline Superstay foundation. If you guys are familiar with these makeup YouTube streets, then you've probably seen this foundation being reviewed. I have, and I definitely wanted to get my hands on it. Luckily, it was sent to me by Maybelline, so I am so excited to try this out. I had actually filmed this video initially, so thank God this isn't going to be a first impressions, because first impressions are not always amazing, because you might wear it today and then tomorrow it's just you have things to add. So it's good that I had that previous experience. So the claims on these are quite a number. First of all, it says it lasts for 24 hours. I'm definitely interested to see how it's going to hold up throughout the day. It also says it gives a 24-hour fresh look. I suppose a fresh look means that even after wearing this foundation for a long time, you're still supposed to look like you just applied it, and we'll definitely see that in a side-by-side. And it also says it's a long wear foundation. Okay, yeah, obviously 24 hours. And then at the back there are more claims. It says no color shifting, dulling, or fading. We're definitely gonna see that. I'm going to see if it's going to oxidize after some time. I also want to see if it's going to become dull. You know, there's some foundations that you put on and by the end of the day they look nothing like they did when you first wore them. You even wonder if you had any foundation on in the first place because it's all rubbed off. So we'll see if this is one of them, or if it will live up to the claim. And then it also says it's breathable and comfortable. We'll test that for sure. I don't think anyone likes wearing a foundation that feels cakey and feels like you've put on a mask. So breathable and comfortable is definitely a plus if it comes through. Non-transfer, won't rub off. We'll definitely test that about this foundation. And then it also says it's dermatologist tested. So I suppose it shouldn't give you, like, you know, there's some foundations that when you wear them the following day you wake up with some new breakouts on your face. So we'll see if that'll be the case for this one. So let's go ahead and get started. You guys by now know the drill. I'm going to start off with a makeup primer and then get straight into the foundation. Okay, so packaging, super cute. Like, it just looks classy, you know, has the white, has the white cap on, and of course it has a pump. I love liquid foundations that have pumps. If a liquid foundation doesn't have a pump, what is it even doing with its life? Please. Liquid foundations need to have pumps. So I'm going to do one side of the face with a brush and one side with a sponge. Let me grab a brush. Okay, so this side of the face I'm going to use a brush, and this side of the face I'm going to use my sponge, just to see maybe which tool gets the job done better when it comes to this foundation. So let's start off with a brush. 2 pumps. Let me start off with 2 pumps, which is what I always use. And now I'm just buffing it into the skin. So the color match is pretty good. I don't even know if I said the shade of this. Mine is in the shade, where's the shade? Okay. Where's the shade? Oh, Okay, mine is in the shade 58 True Caramel, and it's quite a good match. Now, okay, so first of all, this foundation is not full coverage, but that's okay because that was not one of the claims. It didn't claim to be a full coverage foundation. I don't think it's full coverage. Right now, what I'm getting is medium coverage. I'm just getting medium coverage. My blemishes have been covered up, yes, but they could definitely be covered up better. I would not say that this foundation is full coverage, but I definitely want to test out and see if it has a buildable coverage, to see if I add another layer, will it look cakey or is it buildable? So I'm going to add one more pump and especially focus it on the areas where I feel like I need some of that extra coverage. Definitely, it's definitely buildable. What I am loving about this foundation is it's actually said that it would give a fresh look, and I am actually getting that fresh look. You know, a look where you don't actually look like you've put on foundation, you just look like you have this glow from within. And you know, I don't know, you guys, I don't know, you probably can see that glow. It looks very natural. It doesn't look like I've caked on foundation or like I've even overdone it with the makeup. If I left the house like this, I would probably get people asking me what I've been doing to my skin because it's glowing. How is life doing? Because girl, you are glowing. But yeah, it definitely has given me that fresh look. So let's go ahead and do the other side using the sponge. So let's go ahead and do this side using the sponge, but right now you guys can already see the comparison between the two. Yes, 2 pumps still, just like I did with the brush. Okay, so this is how it's looking with a sponge. I think I'm definitely getting less coverage with a sponge than I did with a brush, which is kind of making me lose a bit of that fresh look, a bit of that glow. I guess because the sponge is soaking up quite a bit of product. So I'm going to add another pump and see how that will build up with the sponge. Okay, so as I'm looking at you guys, I don't know if you can see the difference between the two sides, which is what I'm basically trying to say, is that this side has the glow and the fresh look, yeah, but definitely not as much as it does with the brush on. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but yeah. Okay, so the coverage, like I've said, is not full coverage. So if you're looking for a full coverage foundation for every day or whenever, maybe you might not want to get this Superstay. Other than that, I love the glow, I love the fresh look. The color match is really good. It's not too like orange toned or red toned or cool toned, so I definitely like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup. As I even look at this makeup in natural light, and then come back and give you guys my semi-final thoughts before I come back later on after keeping this foundation on for a few hours to give you guys my final thoughts. Okay guys, I am back, and as I was doing my makeup, I definitely noted down quite a number of things about this foundation. First and foremost, I don't know if this formula for this foundation was made for dry skin, because I have normal to dry skin and it's really drying out my skin, because I went to the natural light to take a peek at myself, and my skin looks really dry, especially when I stretch it out. I know you guys can't see, but when I stretch it out, it looks like I have these really severely dry patches on my skin. So what I would say is, if you have dry skin, I don't think at all that this is the foundation for you. For me, what I did is I added some setting spray that seemed to kind of tone down the over drying effect this foundation has had on my skin. But I am guessing the fact that it's drying out my skin means that this foundation could potentially perform really well for someone who has normal to oily skin, or combination skin. There was also something else I noticed. This foundation became a little bit splotchy when I sprayed my setting spray. So by splotchy, I mean like there were like some little dots of foundation that had moved, which has never been the case for any other Maybelline foundation I have tried before, but this one definitely was moving and became splotchy, which I fixed by just dabbing my beauty blender on. But I feel like I have to mention that. Now, I also have to admit to you guys that before I started this video, I forgot to do the first part of the side by side without makeup, where I'm turning and doing all that stuff. Okay, I just forgot. Honestly, I just forgot. So I will see you guys later on. So I'm back, guys, and I want to give you guys my final thoughts. I've kept this foundation on for a good 7 hours, and the place where I've just come from was quite stuffy, and this foundation has performed quite well. I don't know if it looks oily or shiny on camera, but the places where I highlighted are definitely looking quite shiny. I'll definitely say that. Let me look into a magnifying mirror so that I can give you guys a better analysis. Now, one of the claims of this foundation was that it doesn't rub off, there's no dulling, and there's no fading. Unfortunately, that claim has not lived up to its expectations, because there's literally no foundation on a whole area of my nose, which is weird, considering, first of all, I don't ever touch my face. Second of all, I don't have a Homa, so it's not like I was blowing my nose the whole day. So I honestly don't know why the foundation rubbed off of there. Other than that, the rest of my face seems intact. I definitely, of course, still have the dry patches, but the fact that this foundation hasn't gotten oily makes me think that it would actually be a really good foundation for someone with normal to oily skin or oily skin. So if it's drying me out and I have normal to dry skin, then for you who has the oily skin or variations of oily skin, then I think this foundation would actually perform really well for you. So my only con is the fact that a bit of it rubbed off on my nose, but other than that, I think it's looking pretty good. The side by side is what is going to tell us what is what. It's what is going to tell us whether this foundation held up or not, because we can get to compare how I looked when I first did the foundation and how it looks 7 hours later, because after all, it's supposed to be a super stay foundation. So let's do that side by side. Okay guys, so real quick, the final thoughts on this foundation is, first of all, it is not a full coverage foundation. If you're looking for something full coverage, then look beyond the Superstay foundation, because it's not a full coverage foundation. So if you have acne scarring, mini blemishes, no, because I would say this foundation has light to medium coverage, so no. What else would I say about it? The claims, all of them seemed, I think this foundation has held up really well in terms of, getting oily. Consider the place I was really stuffy, so it's good that I didn't like sweat or anything like that. But it did rub off. That's something else. It did rub off. I think I'd given some of my other thoughts when I had first done the foundation. What else would I say about it? If you have dry skin, I don't think this is the foundation for you, considering it gave me some patches, severe patches of, not severe, but there were patches on my skin that looked really dry. So, and I have normal to dry. So if you have just plain old dry, don't even. Also, in terms of transfer, I think that claim was accurate. This foundation has not transferred, and also it doesn't have that sticky feeling that's an indicator that it will transfer. So yeah, that's more or less it for this foundation review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, if you've used this particular foundation, you must leave your comment down below of your experience with it. I especially want to hear from people who have oily skin, because I don't represent the people who have oily skin. So if you have oily skin and you've tried this foundation, please comment down below so that we can know how it actually performs for you. Also, if you have dry skin, also comment down below to let me know whether your skin dried out the way mine did with this foundation. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.